The Bankstown Metro line is now open, is what I thought I would be saying today, back 12 months ago, but it's not. It's been just over a year since the T3 Bankstown line was closed to be converted to the South West Metro line. It was meant to take 12 months, i.e. now, and then it was going to take 18 months, and now, gosh, the latest news is it could take up to 24 months. But progress has been made as regulatory approval has been given for trains to test on the line at speeds up to 100 kilometres an hour. And friend of the channel, Sheik, has been sending videos of the metros being tested during November and December. Thanks, Sheik. Hey, and check out his channel. I've put a link in the description to this video. The last video we made on this line was all about signs of progress. But if this was the Block TV show, this week could be called Tiling and Landscaping Week, as that is what seemed to be happening up and down the line. So let's take another ride along the Bankstown line to see recent developments. I'm Marty, and welcome to Backtracks. So what's happening? Let's travel from east to west, and starting at Marrickville. What a beautiful station building, pretty much intact even today. But now with the platform screen doors, passengers will never again get to see the station building in full view. Not much is happening at street level or surrounds, except that all the station's passenger information screens have been installed and are in tests. And at platform level, the platform screen doors in the last visit were taped up with black plastic, assuming to protect them from the debris from the water cleaning. Now that cleaning seems to be finished, you can now get a good view back of both platforms. And always plenty to see as we head up the line to Dulwich Hill. During the last visit, the main work was on the platform screen doors and gap fillers, with workers continuing to tinker with them. And the station had received its new teal-coloured Metro Dulwich Hill signs. Both the Metro and freight lines were closed this weekend, so plenty of action was happening on and around the tracks. Here, it looks like they're ready to lift steel beams onto the platform. And they're also using a cherry picker to access the overbridge. And the barriers between the pedestrians and the cars have been installed on the overpass, so you can get a view back down on the unused eastern end of the platform, where the previous Sydney trains fittings like light poles, etc. have been removed. And the next stop along the line, as always, is Hurlstone Park. And this was a quick visit, because this station basically has been pretty much close to being finished for a long while. Most of that action when I visited was happening on the station overpass. Continuing west along the line, we arrive at Canterbury. The main work here really now was on areas adjacent to and above the platforms, with workers taking advantage of the closed lines to work on the underside of the above station structure. And also, the question we had last time when we visited about what the foundations were next to the platform, well, that's been answered. Not for lighting or platform indicator boards, but for a new overhead roof at the end of the station access ramp. Last time I suggested work would now focus on the station entrance building and the overhead bridge, and that has come to pass, with most of the workers here, when I visited, working on the station entrance and doing some very traditional looking brickwork covering the concrete superstructure. It looks really good. Brickies were working on it when I was visited, but I didn't want to film them working. And now we reach Campsie. Hey, and check out the scales. Used to be able to weigh yourself on station platforms. I wonder if there's any of them left on the Sydney network. It's all pretty quiet at street level, just collecting leaves. But I guess the station here had already had a makeover a few years back, so not much really to do here. And the visit was well rewarded as a metro train was stabled, I guess overnight, on the up line at the western end of the station. Basically the same place I'd seen them parked before, although the time before it was on the down line. And talking of trains, since testing began in April, apparently a single train, I guess the one we're looking at here, has completed more than 700 hours of testing and travelled nearly 3,000 kilometres. On to Belmore. The overpass is open back up fully to pedestrians, but the station entrance is not much changed. I guess that's the last to be done. But the good news, it makes for a good view back down on the platforms, and this is where we can see that grey coloured tiles are being laid over the concrete base. And speaking with one of the Sydney Metro team this day, he said that this is now the focus for the stations, with a number of separate crews laying these grey tiles up and down the line, and they look pretty good. And I guess tiles are pretty hardy, so good for these high traffic areas around the platform doors. And hello, Lakemba. No action here today, but there had been since the last visit. As you can see, a few developments like Dulwich Hill. All the Sydney Trains station fixtures have been removed from the ends of the platforms that are not going to be used by the metros. And when you zoom in, you can also see that the grey coloured tiles are being laid over the concrete base. Next stop, Wiley Park. And the first thing I noticed is that the car park has reopened as the portable construction cabins have been removed. I guess they're not needed now as the main work has been completed and the workers have left the site. Lots of landscaping has been completed along the southern side of the station, and a little bit has changed at street level, with landscaping installed at the corner where the former sign commemorating John V. Wiley once stood. Come back, John, we miss you. And at the station entrance buildings, there's lots of electrical and comms wiring hanging from the ceiling. Apparently, these comms systems include the passenger information display screens, beakers, CCTV, door security, and hearing loops. And it was good to visit Punchbowl this time because there was plenty of workers on site here, not working on platform screen doors this time, but it looked like they were working on the tiling on the platforms. But it's a station that's quite hard to see because you can't get a really good overhead view. Yes, I do need a drone. Last stop, all out, all change. We arrive at Bankstown. Well, this time I arrived by car. In September last year, I took the train on the very last day of operation. So all this work's being done to basically do the same thing, ride a train along the same section of line. At least I'm getting some YouTube videos out of it. So what's happening at Bankstown Railway and Metro Station? Well, similar to last time, most of the work over the last month or so has focused on the pedestrian mall between the new railway station entrance and the new metro station entrance. Still no sign of any overhead covering for passengers moving between the two stations. I am sure one day they're going to put something in like that. And while we enjoy some of the footage here, let's talk about the cost of these projects. Apparently, the cost of Sydney's new metro rail projects has blown out by $6 billion, with two of the lines now slated to cost more than double their initial estimates. The Metro West line is now going to cost nearly $29 billion, and the City and South West line, which we're looking at in this video, is now expected to cost up to $23 billion, which is double the $12 billion cited when the project was first announced. One wonders whether these lines ever would have started being built if they knew what the eventual cost would be. And before we finish, a bit of a random one. Everyone loves a bit of a secret tunnel, and I read with interest that hiding away behind this wall is the partially completed pedestrian connection, which will link commuters from Martin Place Station via a multi-level walkway directly with services at the Hunter Street station. I had actually wondered why this end of Martin Place was built so large and so wide, because at the moment it's hardly ever used because it really doesn't go anywhere except link the two platforms. And now it explains it, because this will be a key link in the missing link in an extensive east-west undercover pedestrian network extending about 1 kilometre below the heart of Sydney CBD, from Martin Place Sydney train station through Martin Place Metro, Hunter Street Metro, Wynyard Railway Station, right through to Barangaroo. Well, I reckon that's about it. And as normal, I hope you enjoyed this video. And please like and subscribe to BACKTRACKS.Trains if you have not already. And hopefully we'll see you another time when we take another look at the growing Sydney Metro network. See you later.